The Madman! Welcome to the Paladin, Priest, and Rogue star reviews for Ashes of Outland. Let's start with Paladin. The first thing to know about Paladin is that they're getting a major package. The Libram package. Let's put them all out on the board here. I think all of these cards fit into exactly the pure Paladin archetype, and I think the only Paladin archetype that is any good is pure Paladin. I think these cards aren't necessarily that good, but they are a net benefit to pure Paladin, and I think pure Paladin will get better in my expected metagame. I expect that the metagame will have some decent number of aggression decks, and the meta will also have some mid-range decks, of which pure Paladin's actually good against. Pure Paladin, however, just falters against value decks. So I'm 4-starring all these cards across the board, and I'm expecting pure Paladin to be the only Paladin deck that is worth running. And it'll be a strong tier 2 deck. Obviously you include Eldar Truthseeker, and my conclusion was that yes, you run Eldar Attendant just because sometimes you don't draw Eldar Truthseeker, and any discount you can get on your 6, and I do believe you're going to run all 6 of the Libram cards, then discounting them is good. And discounting by 3 is better than 2 as well. And then get your mega value when you play Lady Liadrin. All of these cards basically live or die together, so I believe they all deserve the same rating. And then we just have odds and ends, generally good Paladin cards. You have Imprisoned Sungill, you have Murgur McGurgle, Hand of a Doll, Underlight Angling Rod. Imprisoned Sungill is the best turn 1 play you can make in pure Paladin. Granted, it's not that great afterwards. I'm not entirely sure it'll make the cut, but I think because there's only one other 1-mana card, Brazen Zealot, you might just be forced to run Imprisoned Sungill. Imprisoned Sungill I'll put at 3 stars. Hand of a Doll is just ridiculous. Perhaps one of the best buff cards I've ever seen. 5 stars. If there's any Paladin deck, it's going to run Hand of a Doll. Murgur McGurgle, 4 stars. Just a generally good Paladin card to run in any deck that expects to go long. And then finally, Underlight Angling Rod is just a nice Fiery War Axe, which has 2 random Murlocs attached to it. That's just strong value. 4 stars. So in summary, I rated all of these cards 4 stars across the board because I think pure Paladin will be tier 2, with just a slight exception for Hand of a Doll up, Imprisoned Sungill down. I think that Highlander Paladin has a small chance of being viable, which is why Hand of a Doll is 5 stars. Highlander Paladin, however, will not run all of these Librams because Librams want a critical mass of cards. And because you can't really put any of the new cards into Highlander Paladin looks pretty weak, therefore. For Priest, I'm going to point out 2 major themes. The dragon cards there. Dragon Maul Sentinel is a 2-mana 2/4 if you're holding a dragon, and Skeletal Dragon is a good value dragon. So first, I want to talk about the overarching idea of where I think Priest will go. I looked at the idea of a Zoo Priest. You know, Dragon Priest was very commonly known as a Zoo Priest way back when. Do I think that'll be good? No, I think other classes will do the Zoo thing better. So therefore, I think the defining deck of Priest is going to be Highlander Priest. And I think overall, nearly all of these cards are good enough to put in the Highlander Priest, and certainly the Sentinel and the Skeletal Dragon will be good enough. I think Highlander Priest will be tier 2. You'll see both of these. I'm rating both of these 4 stars. It's because I think aggro/tempo-y side of midrange will exist, and 2/4s with lifesteal are extremely good against that. Big taunts, which also generate value, are good against that. Highlander Priest has the tools to survive and then outvalue your opponent. Another package that Priests are getting are buff cards, effectively. I think Sethic Veilweaver is excellent. I expect to see that card in most Priest decks, but I only think that there's going to be Highlander Priest. So Sethic Veilweaver, I'm giving 4 stars. I think you'll see him in Highlander Priest. If there was another version of Priest, it would probably have 2 copies of Sethic Veilweaver and 2 copies each of Renew and Psychic Split. I think Renew and Psych Split are both insane, especially Psych Split. 4 stars on both Renew and Psych Split. 3 stars on Apotheosis. It will make the cut if there's enough aggro out there. And if not, I expect it to not be played because 3 mana for +2/+3 isn't that great. And then you've got the other cards. Reliquary of Souls, I'm giving that a 4 star. I think that Highlander Priest is going to last long enough that Reliquary of Souls is a good 1-drop to start with, and then will get shuffled and you'll have a chance at drawing it. Games will go that long. You've got Imprisoned Homunculus, which is decent for the Zoo type Priest. And I think a strong enough 1-drop that I'll give it 4 stars. Should be included in Highlander Priest. Dragon Maul Overseer is, again, for that Zoo type of Priest. I don't think Zoo Priest will be that successful compared to other tempo decks that are focused on minions. So Dragon Maul Overseer I'm giving 2 stars. And Soul Mirror 4 stars because Highlander Priest is ultimately going to be a minion-focused control deck, which is kind of interesting. It'll be a minion deck, but it'll also have a bunch of control spells, and Soul Mirror is a great control spell. So in summary, the Priest allocation is very similar to the Paladin allocation in that I could see every single one of these cards going into its new deck, Highlander Priest. And I also think Resurrect Priest should be strong enough that it'll still be some amount of force in the meta, but probably not that significant. And that leaves us with Rogue. Rogue has 2 very exciting packages to select from. And the first is the Secret Package. So right now, Rogue is going into the meta as probably the king, because it's already got a tier 1 deck. It's Galakrond Rogue. Galakrond Rogue will lose pretty much the same cards everyone is losing, Snip Snap, Zilliax, and they had lost Leroy, which is the same as everyone else. So where do you fill that 5-card void? How about the Secret Package? The Secret Package is pretty significant. I think that you'll need to run at least 5 secrets in order to have the secret levers activate enough, especially since the secrets activate really easily. So that's a good and bad thing about the secrets. 2/3 Ambusher of Poison, you'd want to cast that for 2 mana. 2 mana, draw 2 cards, you'd want to cast that. 2 mana, transform one of your minions to +3 more. That's decent. Bamboozle in particular is pretty good with Rogue because a lot of its cards have combo or battlecry effects, so they're understated and have a strong battlecry. So all the secrets are not bad to run independently. I'd say they're a little bit lower in curve on the power curve than other cards, but not that much lower. So where you really get the payoff is with Blackjack Stunner, which is a sap that comes with a 1/2 and attacks of 2 mana on your opponent. And Shadow Jeweler Hanar, which is just value central. You play it with 1 secret, and then you can literally chain the entire turn of just Hanar and secrets. Plus, Hanar's stats are so good, you can just play Hanar on 2, and then possibly play your secrets on turn 3. So I believe that Galakrond Rogue will still be tier 1, and I'm not certain whether or not the Secret Package will make it to Galakrond Rogue, or if Galakrond Rogue will simply just employ various good cards instead, like SI7 Agent, for example. Maybe you run 2 Shadow Step and Reckless Rocketeer. Maybe you just run Shadow Step anyways without the Reckless Rocketeer because that's kind of silly. You just run it with SI7 Agent and, generally good rogue cards. Because of my uncertainty here, I'm going to give the entire package 4 stars. The other package Rogue gets is the Stealth Package. So Spy Mistress is pretty strong. It's a 1 mana 3/1. Do you just want to include Spy Mistress as a proactive, strong card? I'm not sure about that, but it's something you could consider. For that reason, I'm putting Spy Mistress above the other cards, and I'll rate her 4 stars. Overall, though, I think the other stealth cards are all 3 stars. And I think that's going to make it into a tier 3 deck, some sort of aggressive rogue. Obviously, there's the dream that you play turn 1 Spy Mistress, turn 2 Ash Tongue Slayer, and you hit face for 6. That's a lot of damage. But I think this sort of rogue peters out really fast, and I don't think it compares with Face Hunter or Face Demon Hunter. Ash Tongue Slayer and Greyheart Sage also have a little bit of anti-synergy because you buff your stealth minion with +3 attack and immune, you want to attack with it, therefore causing it to lose stealth, and then your Greyheart Sage can't draw cards. Akama is one of those cards that I think is not actually strong enough as a default card to just put into Galakrond Rogue. The 3 mana 3/4 stealth is a little bit slow, and the Akama Prime I think isn't that strong, nor can you in a tempo Galakrond Rogue really guarantee that you'll draw enough cards to get to your Akama Prime. Cursed Vagrant finally is just a nice really big value card. Might be some synergy with the stealth stuff because it does death rattle into something with stealth. In summary, I think these are two really interesting packages for Rogue. Rogue enters this rotation with probably the lead deck right now, Galakrond Rogue. I think that's a strong contender for the lead deck going into the expansion as well. But I think a big response to Galakrond Rogue being so strong is that people will throw more face-heavy decks and more tempo-heavy decks at it. So I was almost tempted to say, oh, I'm predicting Galakrond Rogue won't be a tier 1 deck, but that would be too far a prediction when it's like already a tier 1 deck and it loses not very much. I think Galakrond Rogue is like the benchmark to beat. Not sure if any of these packages are making it there, but the secrets should certainly be tried. Might make Galakrond Rogue even stronger. Remains to be seen on whether or not you can be consistent enough with these secrets and the secret lovers. The other main archetype of Rogue is Highlander Rogue, and I actually think Highlander Rogue doesn't gain much here because the packages are so large. You cannot run one of each secret in order to get the payoff of one Shadow Jeweler Hanar and one Blackjack Stunner. I think that is not consistent enough. So therefore, all those cards are no good for Highlander Rogue. And then for Stealth, it's a similar situation. There's only 2 payoff cards, Ash Tongue Slayer and Greyheart Sage. I don't believe it's worth putting in one of each of those, stealth cards in order to run your stealth payoffs. So Highlander Rogue actually gets substantially worse, losing a lot of key cards and not gaining much because the cards that they're getting come in so strong of a package. So there you have it, really interesting cards for all of Paladin, Priest, and Rogue. One more set of classes to go, Shaman, Warlock, and Warrior.